going down, everybody? Welcome back to the station. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, RayGque. You can find me on Twitter at RayGque, and we did it. Mock Draft Monday. I've been talking about making these come out on Mondays when I do drop the rookie mock drafts. Been coming out Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, but we got it. Bright and early Monday morning for you. For those of you who celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday, hope you had a long, extended weekend. But it's grind mode, maybe. It's grind mode. It's time to get back to the money. The NFL season over halfway done. The college football season wrapping up right now. Dynasty rookie draft season is right on the cusp of taking over the fantasy football space. And I promise you, I don't care what site, what resources you use, you will not find a better wealth and database of college prospect knowledge than what we got cooking over here. Patreon.com/prospect talk. We eat, sleep, breathe college prospects, analysis, film, analytical stuff, the hub that Jordan Backus has built. There's nothing like it in the fantasy football world. I'm telling you, you want to stay a step ahead of your league mates, you got to rock with the good people of the Prospect Talk database, patreon.com/prospect talk. And today we're going to take a look at 2 rounds from this SuperFlex rookie mock draft. I think we did 4 or 5 in the month of November. This is the most recent. We just completed this past weekend. A little bit of recency bias coming into place here, but that's the ebbs and flows of the rookie season. And as we get to the NFL Combine and testing numbers and true size and measurables start to come out, shit's going to be all over the place. I'm telling you, no consensus at quarterback. We saw a lot of movement there. Running back, some new people popping up in this we did a 3-round mock, but I'm only sharing 2. You want the full thing, you want the ADP, you know where to go to get all of that. But let's not play around, let's not delay, let's dive into the content right now. All right, here we go. Once again, SuperFlex, no tight end premium, none of that. We actually started our single quarterback mock draft, so we'll get some of those out for those of you who still play in single quarterback leagues. Couldn't be me, but I'm going to make sure y'all are taken care of as well. So right here, 101, this is SuperFlex, so there should be no surprise. Maybe there is a little bit of a surprise, but Matt Corral. Matt Corral was the first player off of the board, and I believe he still has the consensus 101 in our ADP for the SuperFlex leagues. This is my pick at 101. You got to go with Matt Corral. I love some of the other skill position players in this class, but Matt Corral to me is the clear-cut 101 in SuperFlex. He's going to get first-round draft capital. If he lands in somewhere like Washington, Carolina, Denver, I mean, the weapons are there for Corral to really, really take flight early in his career. Really love what he's done this season. So Matt Corral, 101, easy choice. 102, shit got spicy real quick, because conventional wisdom would say SuperFlex got to go with the quarterbacks, maybe a running back, but no. Arkansas's mammoth of a wide receiver coming off of another dominant performance. Treylon Burks goes 102, the wide receiver out of Arkansas, 6'3", 225, probably going to drop sub 4.4 at the NFL Combine at that size. Just an incredible freak athlete. Treylon Burks, first wide receiver off of the board, ahead of all the running backs and all the other quarterbacks. Who came off of the board? 103, Texas A&M's Isaiah Spiller. Isaiah Spiller, you know, in a tough 3, maybe even 4-way battle for RB1 in this class. Right now, Isaiah Spiller is my top-ranked running back in the 2022 class. But all of this can change. Breece Hall had a fantastic game of the ages for him this past weekend. A lot of people love Breece Hall. Kenneth Walker, I know some people have Zach Charbonnet as RB1 in this class. It's gonna come down to testing numbers and measurables. What I like about most of these running backs, they're big boys, man. You know, Hall, Spiller, Charbonnet, Rachaad White, Hassan Haskins, all these guys are over 210 pounds. So they've got that prototypical size to handle the in-between tackles work. Isaiah Spiller, Breece Hall, all those guys have caught a lot of balls in their college career, so they can do it in both phases of the game. All right, at 104, the aforementioned Breece Hall did come off of the board as RB2, top 5 player. A lot of people have soured on Hall this year. Don't really know why. I still think he's a fantastic running back. Maybe he's not generational, but damn, he's still good. I mean, over 35 receptions on this season, 20 back-to-back, 2 back-to-back 20 reception seasons to start his career out. I think Breece Hall is going to be an excellent running back in the pros and a strong candidate for RB1 off of the board when the NFL draft comes around. At 105, another running back. So after Treylon Burks we see pretty much the consensus top 3 running backs come off of the board right after Burks, with Kenneth Walker, Michigan State's stud, Heisman hopeful running back, coming off of the board at 105. And rounding out the top 6, a wide receiver from Ohio State, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is incredible. You want to put Garrett Wilson as wide receiver 1 in the class, not going to argue you. He's going to get the draft capital, very well could be the first wide receiver off of the board. But there you go. Your top 6 picks: Matt Corral, Treylon Burks, Isaiah Spiller, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and Garrett Wilson round out round 1. Picks 1 through 6. And let's start it out at the 107 spot. And a player who was lost for the season due to injury, but was on a record-shattering pace. Every draft analyst that I pay attention to that seems to be worth a damn, all have him projected as a first-round pick. And I'm talking about Big Drizzy, Drake London, the 6'5", 210-pounder out of USC. Currently a top 3 wide receiver in the class for me. I love him. Reminds me of Mike Evans / Brandon Marshall. Maybe a little more Brandon Marshall than Mike Evans. I have no concerns about the ankle injury. I think Drake London is going to be a stud at the next level, in the first of the real, another one of these big boy wide receivers. Burks, Drake London. You're talking about George Pickens. These guys are monsters on the outside. Love what they bring to the table. Drake London comes off the board at 107. At 108, probably going to win the Biletnikoff Award this year, Jameson Williams out of Alabama. Speedster. I mean, when you're looking at what we thought Henry Ruggs could be, this is a more refined wide receiver with just as much speed. Maybe not as much. Henry Ruggs ran a 4.2. I think Jameson Williams is a lock to hit 4.3. He's got that speed. Very good route runner. Solid down the field. He's got a little more size than you would think. I like J-Mo. J-Mo's a nice receiver, a good illustration of the transfer portal rules working well. And this player going from a day 3 prospect at Ohio State to a first-round lock in the 2022 NFL Draft. All right, now let's get back to the quarterbacks. QBs coming off of the board. And QB2, interesting. Kenny Pickett comes off the board at 109, the signal caller out of Pitt. Good chance he wins the Davey O'Brien Award as the nation's top quarterback. Kenny Pickett has improved his draft stock. We talk about J-Mo. Kenny Pickett, Kenneth Walker, Jameson Williams have improved their draft stock tremendously this year. Kenny Pickett, a lot of NFL execs say he's a first-round pick. So, SuperFlex, rookie drafts, don't let Kenny Pickett fall out of the first. I get it. Some people, he doesn't have the dual threat ability. Don't let your quarterbacks fall out of the first round. We learn your lesson from Mac Jones. You want these guys. They're quarterbacks. He's locked into a starting role 3 to 4 years as a first-round pick. You got to go with Kenny Pickett, all right? At 110, little shocker right here because our ADP has him as QB2, or QB3 overall. Sam Howell comes off the board at 110. If you can get Sam Howell at 110 in your SuperFlex rookie drafts, this is probably a great steal. Sam Howell comes off the board as QB3. And the biggest faller so far, Malik Willis, the quarterback out of Liberty. At one point in time, people were talking about him as the QB1 in this class. And I just think just some of the things that he needs to work on and clean up in his game, the level of competition, and just how good some of these other players have played this year, have people a little weary on Malik Willis. Listen, Malik Willis hits. If Malik Willis fires, the dual threat capability, this is going to look like an egregious slip for Malik Willis. And whoever got him at the 111 spot, the person who was probably in the championship game, this is a hell of a get for a player who's still projected by all NFL mock draft analysts to be a first-round pick. So if that happens, I highly doubt we see Malik Willis fall to the 111 spot. I like Willis. I don't believe Willis is better than Jalen Hurts. I know a lot of people want to push that narrative. I think he's got a chance to be better, maybe, but right now, he's not a player that I think you would want starting from day one for an NFL franchise. So if he can sit behind a Teddy Bridgewater for a year, if he can sit behind, one of these bridge quarterbacks, maybe a Cam Newton, right? Sit behind Cam Newton for a year, learn that Carolina offense. You might have something special on your hands with Malik Willis. And let's round out the first round with Purdue's sensational wide receiver, David Bell, who is a tier 1 wide receiver in this class for me. Phenomenal season from David Bell. He's just doing it. He's been doing it since Rondale Moore was there, and I fully expect him, when it's all said and done, to be the Rashad Bateman of this class. Just skilled at everything he does. I believe he's going to test a hell of a lot better than people are giving him credit for right now. So there it is. Round 1. Matt Corral, Treylon Burks, Isaiah Spiller, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Jameson Williams, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, Malik Willis, and David Bell. Now on to round 2, and we're going to start at the 201 spot, and we've got to go with the Notre Dame running back, Kyren Williams. Little undersized, probably the best pass blocker from the running back position in this class. And I know pass blocks pass protection doesn't score you fantasy points, but that should at least instill some confidence for a coaching staff to keep him on the field on third down situations. He's a capable pass catcher out of the backfield. Don't know if he's got the size to handle a full workload at the NFL level, but he's explosive, he's tough, he can catch the ball, and he can stay on the field in third downs. Great pick right here at the top of the second round, grabbing Kyren Williams. Now, this one, I don't think he's going to fall this far, especially after he's probably the first wide receiver off of the board for NFL teams. I'm talking about Ohio State senior Chirs Olave. Chirs Olave, top 5 wide receiver for me in this class. He's not my wide receiver 1, 2, 3, or 4. He's number 5. Smooth route runner, very great at tracking the ball down the field, an explosive playmaker. I view him in a like Emmanuel Sanders type role, a very strong wide receiver too. I don't think he can be an alpha, but I could be proven wrong with Chirs Olave. I don't dislike Olave. I just like a couple of other receivers a little bit more than what he brings to the table. Right now, in my opinion, he's the 3rd best wide receiver on that Ohio State team, and that's not an indictment against Chirs Olave. It's just how damn good Garrett Wilson and Jackson Smith and Jigba are. But Chirs Olave coming off of the board here at 202, can't argue with the value. All right, at 203, we have another wide receiver from Penn State, Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson has accepted a Senior Bowl invite, and I think he's going to put on a show in those one-on-one practices. He's uncoverable, very quick off of the line of scrimmage, great route runner, explosive after the catch. Jahan Dotson, again, another one of those wide receivers who I believe could get first-round draft capital in the 2022 NFL Draft. At 204, we're going to Kentucky to grab Wan'Dale Robinson. A little bigger than people, probably think, listed at 5'11", 185 pounds. He's doing it all for Kentucky this year. I just, for me personally, I just want to see, how he can be used as a primary, I don't want to say alpha, but maybe a beta, right? I just don't want gadgety players. I don't want Rondale Moore is the last gadgety player that I'm ever going to plant my flag on, and that's because Rondale Moore was just so damn dominant so early. But if all you can do is kind of run out of the slot, these manufactured, I don't know. I like Wan'Dale Robinson, and when you're getting him at the 204, it's hard to argue with that value. So don't hate the pick at all. Middle of the second round, shit starts to get gross. So you got to go get your guys. Wan'Dale Robinson, hell of a playmaker. If he lands with the right system, could be stock up for him. A player who I think is not receiving the hype that he should, and I think is going to be a very good pro at the next level, is UCLA's Zach Charbonnet. I mean, at 6'2", 220, 6'1", 220, a lot of people say he's going to run sub 4.5. I mean, if this big boy runs 4.4, mid to low 4.4s, with what he can do out of the backfield, he runs. I'm not comping him. He runs like Nick Chubb. When you watch how high and tight he holds the ball, the one-cut explosiveness, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Zach Charbonnet is RB1 in some people that I trust. And in their projections, he's RB1. I don't think he's going to be drafted as RB1, but he's somebody that the pre-draft process could do a ton of good for Zach Charbonnet. I like Charbonnet here to get a potential starting running back at the 205 with that size adjusted speed is going to be incredible. Hell of a get to grab, snag Zach Charbonnet at the 205 spot. 206, don't think I love this one in outside of tight end premium formats, but Texas A&M's Jalen Wydermeyer, he is my tight end 1. I think he's going to be a good tight end at the next level, but there's no way I would have selected Wydermeyer over a couple of players who went after him. This is not tight end premium, so unless you're telling me he's going to be like Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, I just don't think I can take a tight end this early, and I don't think I can take this type of tight end. Wydermeyer projects to be, in my opinion, more of a possession, big body, chain-moving tight end, then explosive down-the-field weapon. He can do it. Runs a lot over the slot a lot at Texas A&M, but there's no way I'm taking Jalen Wydermeyer over probably the steal of the draft coming off of the board at 207. He was just medically cleared by his team to play. Coming off of an ACL tear, he's probably going to play in the SEC title game. I am talking about Georgia's stud, George Pickens. Getting George Pickens at the 207 spot. Coming into the season, he was a top 3 wide receiver for me. Tore his ACL before the season. And then it was like 0 dark 30. You heard nothing about Pickens, his recovery. Well, he's back. He's cleared. He's probably going to play in the SEC title game. And if you're telling me I can get a potential top 3 talent, maybe the top most talented wide receiver of all these players in the 2022 class, the back half of the second round, sign me up. And again, I don't think I could take, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Wydermeyer, Jahan Dotson. I don't know if I'd take those guys over George Pickens. So to grab George Pickens here, the 207 spot, hell of a get. All right, at 208, Mr. 5 TDs himself, but don't get it twisted. Hassan Haskins has been good, and I think he's going to be a solid little sneaky play at the next level. Think, Ramondre Stevenson type draft capital, Hassan Haskins. He's the reason why Blake Corum is not a full-time starter. He's the reason why Zach Charbonnet transferred to UCLA. The converted linebacker, he's got the size, 6'1", 220, 220 for Haskins, 220 for Walker, 220 for Breece Hall, 220 for Zach Charbonnet. These are big running backs in this class. Hassan Haskins, I think this pre-draft tour for him, Senior Bowl, Combine, could be huge for his stock. And how he finishes out the last couple of games, think Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon went on a tear his final 3 games of the season last year, got him picked earlier than he probably should have. Hassan Haskins is a better running back than Trey Sermon. So if he can continue that momentum from the Ohio State game to the Big Ten title game to the potential college football playoffs, we could see Hassan Haskins' stock skyrocket. So love getting a potential running back, maybe a rotational guy, spot starter, maybe can start at the next level, maybe. But Hassan Haskins at 208 is definitely worth the risk. All right, at 209, Carson Strong, signal caller out of Nevada. Again, still pushing for potential first-round draft capital. Big quarterback, big arm. The issue is the knee injuries, and I know he's had a couple of them. There are concerns about some degenerative stuff in that knee. Carson Strong isn't going to give you anything on the ground. He's a statue, old-school pocket passer. When you're talking about the best deep thrower in the class, you're looking at him, Nevada's Carson Strong. At 210, and I think this is a little low. I believe his stock is going to rise as well. Desmond Ridder. I haven't been the biggest fan of Desmond Ridder. Some accuracy concerns, but he's got size, he's got a big arm, and he's a mobile quarterback. He's not Malik Willis. He's not Matt Corral, but damn it, he can move. He can pick up yards with his legs. Think Dak Prescott pre-ankle snap injury. That's what you're looking at as far as the mobility. Like a quarterback that can pick you up some yards and points on the ground. I wouldn't consider him a true Konami code in the Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray mold. But Desmond Ridder, again, SuperFlex. To get him, potentially at worst, Desmond Ridder is going to be a second-round pick at worst. So to get that at the 210 spot, I'd probably rather Desmond Ridder at 210 opposed to Kenny Pickett at 109. That's just me. I'm coming around on Desmond Ridder. Coming around. I ain't all the way there yet, but I'm coming around. All right, and to finish this thing out at 211, we have Arizona State senior running back, again, 220-plus pounds, Rachaad White having a fantastic season, and Alabama's wide receiver, John Metchie. A lot of people thought John Metchie was going to be the alpha in the offense this year. Well, that honor went to Jameson Williams. We saw him picked at the 108 spot. John Metchie rounds out the second round. I think he'll be okay at the next level. I'm not a big John Metchie fan. Really hadn't impressed this year. Wouldn't be shocked if he came back for another season, John Metchie, that is. So there you go. The second round. Kyren Williams, Chirs Olave, Jahan Dotson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Wydermeyer, George Pickens, Hassan Haskins, Carson Strong, Desmond Ridder, Rachaad White, and John Metchie. There it is. The third iteration, Volume 3 of the 2022 NFL Rookie Mock Draft, brought to you by the good people of Prospect Talk, patreon.com/Prospect Talk. I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you're starting to see some trends, make some moves if there's still some trade deadlines that haven't taken place in your dynasty leagues, and start acquiring some of those first-round picks in 2022. I think the first round is absolutely loaded with some good value, especially from picks 201 to 206, 207. In the second round, if you want to see the full mock draft, if you want to get all access to all the ADP data, you know where to go. I appreciate you checking out the content. If you liked it, smash the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and I'll see y'all later this week with more content, more actionable advice. Y'all have a good one. I'm out of this thing. Peace.